Welcome to the Modern Leadership Podcast. I'm Tim Nolan. So, today's episode, we're going to look at the essential handbook for highly effective managers. So, for those that haven't seen this book yet, or maybe you've only heard about it, just going to spend a few minutes just going over some of the content that's covered, why it's something you should be using. And of course, there's a million leadership books out there, but this one has been used by tens of thousands of managers at all levels. And when we start going over some of these chapters, what really helps this book stand out is how easy it is to read. I write in bullet points. So this helps to take the fluff out of things and go straight into here are strategies, here are either looking at challenges, here are opportunities to consider. And so every chapter represents a buffet of just strategies and opportunities for you. And one of the things that I found with working with folks around the country is that you have a good amount of people. Honestly, it's almost like I guess there's three categories. You have the people who are like, yeah, I need a lot of help. So, and then you have people who are like, hey, you know what? Yeah, there could be something there. I'm always looking to learn, regardless of how long they've been doing it. And then you have the other group of, yeah, you know what? I've been doing this for a while. I know how to do this. Doubtful that this book or this program, or you for that matter, have anything to offer me that I don't already know or I'm not doing. And so if you're in that category, you're already closing stuff off. And there's a lot of opportunities for individuals in that last category. And because most people should be either in category one or two, that are you someone who's open and receptive? And if you are, this book is perfect because even if you've been leading people for a long time, there's a lot of new research in this book. It just came out this year. It's the third edition. And so a lot of new research in there to really illustrate opportunities. What are employees saying about their relationship with managers? Are they getting enough feedback? Do they feel expectations are clear? And things of that nature. So when we look at just some of the chapters here, again, I'll put a link for Amazon so you can go in there and check it out, get a free preview as well as order it if that's something that you want. And if you're looking at this for your organization, I'm happy to send you a free copy as well. But in many cases, maybe it's just best to jump on and buy it yourself and go through it and see what you think. Because if you like the book, you'll definitely love the Highly Effective Managers program. But still, if you're not interested in the program, then the book is a great addition. It's something you can keep on your desk or handy. And so when I wrote it, is one of the first things I start with is vision. And, Stephen Covey talks about begin with the end in mind. And so that's something that's always informed me is that what does it look like if it's working well? What does it look like? Whether it's the ideal employee, whether it's exceptional customer service, it's a process about how people should collaborate. What is the vision? And vision-oriented leaders are seen as more effective. That's something research has found too. So there's that, creating a positive, empowering culture. Psychological safety is another chapter. So again, we're looking at 25 total chapters here. Transformational leadership. Not the most exciting of content, of information, but what separates this approach to leading others is that it's supported by research. There's been numerous research studies done throughout the years that show when managers use this approach, they get higher levels of engagement, commitment from employees, and desire to remain with the organization. So again, transformational leadership, essentially comes down to building an authentic relationship with employees. So personalizing your approach, building strong leadership credibility. That's really a key chapter because when we look at the arc of the book, starting out with definitely some foundational pieces, vision, having a good culture, but also focusing on being someone that people want to follow. And remember, we all have blind spots. Again, these are areas of unawareness. So you may feel that people want to follow you. But when we start going over some of the really key professional skills and approaches outlined in that chapter, it'd be interesting to see if you identify some areas, especially if you're being honest with yourself, are these areas of opportunity. Focusing on your professional growth, prioritizing your wellness. That's an important piece of leading others. Another critical one is self reflection. It's chapter 9, self reflection. Again, being able to look at things. In fact, I was just talking with a friend of mine today on a personal matter, but still using the same thing. I shared something with him in terms of how I reflect on situations. I look back at myself and I grade my performance, my efforts in that situation. So, again, self reflection. This is a critical leadership skill that many people are not either not using or not using it fully. Effective critical thinking and problem solving, that's another great one. And in fact, many people say, I want to see more critical thinking from my employees. Well, if you're doing the things outlined in this chapter, you're going to get it. And so, handling conflict and providing effective feedback, huge one. People's comfort level or appetite with conflict definitely directly relates to the frequency and the quality of feedback they provide. So, really great chapter there and great strategies in how to provide better feedback to other people. And then, looking at, onboarding exceptional employees. So that's another big area to look at as well. So, and then after the conflict, looking at developing a thriving supervisor relationship. In fact, I just did a podcast episode on that one. Definitely, you should check that out. And then after that, looking at focusing on employee commitments. This is a big one. What are things that managers can do? Because remember, commitment drives engagement, performance, and desire to remain with you in the organization. This is something that a lot of research overlooks. Is they talk about engagement a lot. Gallup is talking about engagement often, a really good barometer in terms of your workforce. But really going a little bit deeper, in order to get engagement is a byproduct of commitment. So you want to make sure that people are committed. And there's a lot of things outlined in that chapter that I would be very surprised if you could go through that chapter and say, I do all those things. And if you do that, you should email me. I really would like to hear about that. Tim at modernleadershippodcast.com. So then we're looking at coaching, developing folks. Here's another key one is high quality one-on-one meetings. It's not just that you're having them, but what are you covering? And it's funny, I've worked with several organizations over the last year where they don't do one-on-one meetings. And that to me is baffling. If you're not having at least monthly sit down one-on-one meetings that's structured and well documented, that is a huge area of opportunity that you should be looking at immediately. And then effective performance evaluations. This is something, looking at that process, how to message it, how to process any challenges. And what's really cool is that when you identify those opportunities with employees, then you can start putting that back into the one-on-one meetings to really be very transparent and look at areas of opportunity and work together in partnership with employees to help them get the goals they want, as well as get the metrics that you're looking for. Engaging challenging or difficult employees, disciplinary actions, optimizing team performance, embracing and effectively managing change. That's another huge one that managers often say to me, like, I want my employees to really proactively respond to change. Well, start with your vision. What does it look like if someone is doing that? And so there's a lot of things outlined in that chapter that you can, put into place. And so really just, I have a chapter devoted for important points for new managers. So if you find yourself somewhat new or new to leading others, some good points to get you off the ground there. And then final thoughts and ending with moving forward. But just again, want to devote an episode here looking at the Essential Handbook for Highly Effective Managers, third edition, and how using a modern leadership approach drives sustainably high levels of employee, manager, and organizational performance. So definitely something to look at. Look at the link, go to Amazon, check it out, look at it for your organization. And the next step from this book is the Highly Effective Managers Program, the 12-month Highly Effective Managers Program that over 7,000 managers have gone through. And I'll devote a future podcast for that. So any questions, definitely send me an email, Tim at modernleadershippodcast.com or Tim at highlyeffectiveorganizations.org. Modern Leadership Podcast, Tim Nolan.